Commissioner Litz has something that she would like to pitch to us.
Right. I want to say thank you for allowing me to bring this to the floor. I know you haven't seen this before, but yesterday I was on a meeting with the Swatara Watershed Association, and later in the day, things kind of gelled. And I would like to give you a 2-minute outline of what my proposal would be. The Swatara Watershed Association has successfully written a grant to obtain trees and tubes from Keystone 10 Million Trees Partnership. Swatara Watershed Association would like to offer a free consult with our Master Watershed Steward, Bethany. Now, she was certified through Penn State to plant native flowering trees like dogwood and redbud in Monument Park. Recently, Lebtown did a wonderful article where they tried to bring the community together on Monument Park. And this is something I thought we could do at no cost to the county, really. These native trees are beneficial to the environment, provide shade and aesthetics to the park, but won't grow as big as the existing trees. So the dead tree removal and dropping of large branches would reduce liability, and we would get free tree tubes to protect the trees from lawn mowing, voles, and deer browsing. I don't know how many deer make it down from Coleman Park, but maybe some do. At any rate, we could solicit community volunteers to help plant the trees. And with buy-in, a plus is there's pride in ownership, and that would give people a feeling of being part of what's going on. We also offered this program to all of the municipalities in Lebanon County, and so far West Lebanon and Jonestown Borough are interested in trees. And I'd love to be able to add Monument Park to Port Lebanon County. I did consult slightly with Steve last night, our maintenance supervisor, and he is willing to oversee the improvements. There might be one dead tree left to remove on the northwest corner of the fenced-in area, but he thinks the majority are down. And also, just to expand upon that, Bill Miser, as a result of the Lebtown article, came forward and said the Red Horse unit might be interested in helping with some of the repairs. And again, that discussion on Lebtown's Facebook page also pointed out that tombstones get a gentle cleaning so as not to destroy them, and there's no power washing involved. I think the product is called D3, and they would probably set up scaffolding around and clean it with this, just probably a paintbrush or something. But I think it could be coordinated. And finally, replacing this is the biggest thing when it comes to the stabilization long-term of the monument. It was pointed out that there is a limestone slab that apparently replaced perhaps a broken marble slab. And it must have been slid in and, as one's going out, one's coming in kind of thing. And that's where it would take some real technical expertise. But Steve said he would be willing to research who did that and what technique was used. And also, I heard that marble is not as strong as granite, and granite might make a better replacement piece. The limestone is not good because the water does dissolve it, and it is starting to show signs of crumbling. So that is important to take care of. But again, with the help of the Red Horse, I think it can be accomplished. And even if we had to buy a piece of granite and finally install perhaps some period Victorian streetlights, it would be great to just use hotel tax, because that is a tourist attraction as well from the Civil War and with ties to the Colemans and Brocks. So the last part was just added on as a vision. But the part that I'm asking for approval at this time is to partner with Swatara Watershed Association and Keystone 10 Million Trees Partnership to get some wonderful flowering. It would add aesthetics and replace some trees that had been removed because they were dead. And at the same time, they're native and not going to grow so big that we have this problem with removal of dead trees in the future. So that's my ask today.
I just have a question though. It, looking at the big picture of all that you've just presented that needs to be done and
Mhm.
things that you didn't mention that maybe need to be addressed in the park as well. I guess there's a sequence that trees should be maybe more toward the end of the project than at the beginning. So I don't know enough about that to really say that with any authority, but it just seems that you wouldn't want those in the way of all the apparatus that are going to be coming in and out to deal with the other issues that are presented at the Monument Park. So I can see that as part of a bigger picture of a comprehensive look at doing what we need to do there. But I look for other input before I would just go ahead with the tree part.
Okay, well, I was thinking about that, and I think that on the perimeter where the fencing is, you can't drive through there without any pieces of equipment. So anything would have to have a little ramp and brought up the steps and taken up to the monument. So as long as we're doing these flowering trees around the perimeter, and perhaps between the other trees, because you want different age trees, you don't want them all the same age or they all die at the same time. I think we can do the perimeter now, and then it would cut down on the expense since there is no cost, and it would also show the public that we're working constantly. I know we painted the flagpole and removed graffiti and taken out some dead trees. So we have done some things, but this would just show that we're ongoing maintenance and involved and proud of our heritage and our history, and that we're really doing the right thing when it comes to taking care of that park.
May I
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
something?
Commissioner, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I think that the idea of the trees, I think that's a wonderful offer, and if it would be appropriate for Monument Park, I certainly would have no problem with that. But I think we need to take a different approach to this Monument Park. First of all, I don't like the degrading communications that we've been receiving about the park, because I don't think any of the three of us are evil people or want to disrespect veterans or anyone else for that matter. So I somewhat resent that, and I think that's an interesting way to get results. From my standpoint, I think we need some help, some professional help in determining exactly what needs to be done in this Monument Park to keep it as close to original as possible, to keep it authentic. And I would like to see us reach out and find a consultant. Maybe we could talk to the gentleman at Cornwall Iron Furnace. His name escapes me. Somebody help me. The director there now. He's on the Visit Lebanon Valley. Emery, Mr. Emery, and see if there's someone in the museum commission or somewhere in Pennsylvania that can take a look at this park, and if they're not able to help, direct us to someone that can give us a sequential plan to restore this park. And then I think folks will see we're taking appropriate steps, because right now, I love our maintenance staff, and Steve is great, but to put this formatting and restoring this park, to put that on Steve's shoulders, I don't think is a fair thing to do, because he's great at what he does, but he doesn't restore monument parks. That's not his area of expertise. So we need to first of all find someone that this is what they do, and not necessarily that our maintenance people couldn't do it, but to make recommendations to us. And as you were indicating, Commissioner Phillips, what is the sequence of planting new trees and taking trees down? And I know that the roots and stumps need to be removed over there. So can we take a look at getting a plan developed somehow. And I don't suppose that would cost a fortune, but invest some money into doing that. And I think Commissioner Litz's suggestion about tourism tax, hotel tax is a good one. That would give us some source of revenues.
I think we're on the
That's
same
my
page.
pitch.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said that's my pitch.
Okay, I think we're on the same page. It wasn't necessarily for our staff to do the work as much as coordinate it and talk with the consultants and the Red Horse or whoever might be involved in making these improvements. And again, a master watershed steward, those kinds of people. So it wasn't our staff doing the work as much as coordinating it so that they're not in there when the prisoners are, you know, that kind of thing. And the sequence, I agree. And that was one of the things I brought up when this was brought to the floor before. But again, I see the trees as an opportunity to do something now. And we can still, you know, have a consultant. That's great. We talked about Bob Hoffman or Carol Hickey. They're both good. But also there was a suggestion to reach out to Adams County at Gettysburg Park and talk to their curator or whatever, because they have so many monuments there, and that they might be able to supply some advice. But again, we need someone, Jamie has so much on his plate, we need someone to coordinate what we do. And so Steve's willing to do that if that's what we would like.
Well, I think perhaps our purchasing agent, and I realize that she's new, but this might be something that we could talk to her about as far as doing some research and securing some expertise or some expert help to coordinate
You know,
this project.
that's a good idea too. And Stephen and she can work together.
I want to echo Bill's concern about Steve. You know, that is probably one of the busiest and smallest departments, and they're vital in so many ways that to put something that is really not his wheelhouse in his hands to coordinate and I understand he's not going to be doing the work, but just the coordination of what we're trying to accomplish there, I think is a big task that I would prefer we look elsewhere for that part of it. And I don't want to just do these trees because we want to show that we care. I want to still do it because the worst thing we can do is do it out of sequence and then we have to take them out or destroy something that we just did. I think that would be worse than being slow and methodical and doing it properly. So anyway, those are my comments. Jamie.
I try to follow it all together a little bit from my observation.
What did we all say?
Listen to all of us. Yeah.
Really, I mean, listening
We're talking the same thing.
Listening to all of you, you're close to the same place. But I think what Bill's talking about is a master plan for the park, and
Right.
Comprehensive.
something that, you know, the Holman Park did a master plan. Many, you know, there are master plans for many of the facilities around the county, and that's kind of the first step to do some of the things, or to plan out things, as Bob said, so you don't do one thing and then have to undo it or find out it was the wrong thing to do later on. Carol Hickey's probably close to someone like that. It's more of a landscape architect, not really a Bob Hoffman thing. Bob has his niche, but I don't think, you know, that's a different field. To have a landscape architect come up with a master plan, and often it's done hand in hand with DCNR so that there's funding available. I don't know if this park would fit into that category because it's a very small city park, you know, city located park. So that would be a way to have a master plan, and then that person would oversee the carrying out of the plan. Steve, obviously, and his crew could be there to, you know, he has.
And the same way with Red Horse, they, you know, I mean, maybe there's work that they can do, but under guidance. Yeah.
The question
You got to understand, I was told that I wasn't allowed to spend any money. I was trying to do it without spending the money. But if you're willing to invest in a plan, you know, let's go for it. But
Well,
the
and who
trees
told
are
you-
only available so long.
Who told you you were not allowed to spend any money?
You did. You said as long as it doesn't cost anything.
No, Joel, you said I have an idea that doesn't cost any money.
And you said as long as it doesn't
We
cost
said
anything.
so I was just repeating what you said. Now, don't mischaracterize.
Yeah.
You want to call a truce here, Jamie?
No, I just don't want it to be misrepresented that we can't spend any money. I was
No.
following what she told me yesterday, that it won't cost any money. So I was jokingly saying, as long as it doesn't cost any.
I think we're willing to spend money. We don't want to
We
waste.
have to.
We don't want to waste money. Right. We want to do it right.
Let me use that as a segue. This money doesn't, not spend any, or what does it cost, or you will spend some. In the chat box, Pam Tricamo has been making some comments here. Where would the funds come from to hire a professional? The Friends of the Coleman Park have been are willing to be the 501c3 for Monument Park if that's needed, because it ties to the Coleman family. One of the things that I wanted to mention to her first question, where would the funds come from? You could use hotel tax funds. Certainly it could be seen as a draw. You could also, you've not done this before, but for your own property, you could use the Act 13 Marcellus shale funds. We've handed that out, obviously, and that's where the applications come from, a lot of the organizations and colleagues around the county, but there'd be nothing wrong with using it for one of your own county parks. And so, that would be another opportunity to put into the environment and greenery and that sort of thing, which is what Marcellus Shale's grants are intended to do. So
we need to, it's another thing to, I don't want to say put on the back burner, but I know, Jamie, you're overburdened with a lot of things, but it's something if we can maybe just move off a dead center with this and start to move forward.
That's what I don't want to, I'm certainly not trying to push aside what Commissioner Litz is proposing, but it may be.
No, I don't think any of us are.
May be a component to
Right.
master plan and offering the grant writing expertise, maybe that's the step 2.
Well, I would be willing to make a motion to have our new purchasing agent put out a request for proposal to have someone like a Carol Hickey who puts together a park plan for us, and then we can move on from there.
Okay. Yeah, that I don't know if we need a motion to do that, because what we're doing is going out. You're talking about an RFP then?
Yeah, because there's expense involved if you have to advertise it. So that's why we would need a motion to spend the money for the advertisement.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with an RFP.
I think I made the motion. You just need a second.
I'll second it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jamie, do you understand that motion?
Got it.
Got it. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate the open ear and your willingness to listen. And if it comes about that Carol says the small trees on the perimeter or whoever gets hired are appropriate, let me know and we'll see if we can still get you some free trees. They are rooted and planted, most of them. They're beautiful and it would add color to the park. And I just really, it would be helping the environment. Let's put it that way.
Anything else, Jamie?
Just one more comment to Pam's note in the chat there. She said, if there is a need for a nonprofit tie-in, that Friends of Coleman Park would have an avenue. I think we're in a pretty good position, though, being an already county-owned park, to be able to apply for funding, all sources, whether it's DCNR or other types of grants. I think we're probably in a pretty good position. There are times when a C3 is needed, to piggyback on. But appreciate the offer, but we're probably already an applicant in a lot of these places. Yeah. Okay.
And this meeting coming up, Jamie, I know you sent us. Is it a link? Is it a Zoom meeting, or will we just be observers?
It's a Skype. You'll be there. Yeah, it shouldn't take more than a few minutes. It's just an exit conference on the CARES, and they'll let us know how we did. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a Skype link though. I'm hoping your machine will.
Okay. Would you like a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.